Hello students, I welcome you all in my virtual classes once again, and today's class topic is clauses. What is clauses? How many types of clauses and how identify the clauses? All these question answer you will get in this video. So watch the video till end, and now let's start the class. I will explain what is clause. Clause is a group of words which has a subject and a predicate. It forms a part of the sentence and contains a finite verb. It is called clause. I repeat again. A clause is a group of words which has a subject and a predicate. It forms a part of the sentence and contains a finite verb. For example, she has a ring which is made of gold. Now in this sentence I will tell you how to identify this sentence as a clause. I told you na, clause is a group of words. This part is known as a clause. Okay, and this part of this group of words is known as a sentence. Clear? Now how to identify this part of a group of the words is a clause. As a definition, a group of words which has a subject, which is a subject, and a predicate is, this part is made of gold is known as a predicate. Okay, so a group of words which has a subject and a predicate and forms a part of a sentence. अब शब्दों का ऐसा समूह जो क्या है, जिसमें एक सब्जेक्ट होता है, एक प्रेडिकेट होता है और वो एक पार्ट सेंटेंस का हिस्सा होता है, वो क्लॉज कहलाता है. देखिए, she has a ring is a subject and this group of words is also a part of this sentence. That's why this whole sentence is known as a clause. It is clear now? What is a clause? A group of words which has a subject and a predicate and it forms a sentence, part of the sentence and contains a finite verb. It's called clause. Finite verb means a verb, finite verb. A verb which can change their forms according to the number, person of the tense. Okay, person of the tense. So that is known as a finite verb. So here is a finite verb. If the subject changes, the verb automatically will change. So this kind of a combination is known as a clause. Now types of clause. How many types of clause? So there are two types of clauses. First, main clause. Second, subordinate clause. Clear? There are two types of clause, main clause and subordinate clause. Now what the main clause? Main clause is also known as a principal clause and as a independent clause. Clear? Main clause is also known as a principal clause and independent clause. Subordinate clause also known as a dependent clause. So keep these things in mind. A principal clause, independent clause and main clause all are same. Okay? Same as subordinate clause can be pronunciated as a dependent clause also. Clear? Now I am going to explain what is main clause and what is subordinate clause. Clear? Main clause. Main clause make complete sense on their own. I told you na, clause have two parts. First part is known as a main clause and another part is known as a subordinate clause. Main clause is also known as a independent clause or principal clause. Subordinate clause also known as a dependent clause. Why? Main clause makes complete sense on their own, okay, and subordinate clause, a clause that depend on another clause to make complete sense is called subordinate clause. How? See, example, I went to bed early although I was not tired. Now I will explain to you that how to identify that in the sentence that this is a main clause and this is a subordinate clause. Clear? Just keep in pay more attention here. I went to bed early although I was not tired. In this group of words, one is main clause and another one is subordinate clause. Now how to find out which one is main clause and which one is subordinate clause? I told you a clause makes complete sense on their own. I went to bed early. This part of a sentence is known as a main clause. How? I went to bed early. This group of words giving complete sense. This group of words needs no another sentence for complete their sense. Clear? This group of words making sense without help of this part of the sentence. While although he was tired is subordinate clause. Why this part is known as subordinate clause? Because although I was not tired. Clear? This group of words make sense but not complete sense. For making sense, that's why this part is known as a subordinate clause, because subordinate clause also known as a dependent clause, because subordinate clause depend on main clause to give their sense, to complete their sense. Although I was not tired means what? What I want to do, I was not tired means what? See, I went to bed early. मैं बेड पर जल्दी चला गया, although I was not tired, हालांकि मैं थका हुआ नहीं था. अगर मैं main clause को हटा देता हूँ, although I was not tired, हालांकि मैं थका हुआ नहीं था, तो क्या किया मैंने? Means पूरा सेंस नहीं आ रहा है. In this group of words, I went to bed early. मैं सोने जल्दी चला गया. Senseful है. So a group of words which makes complete sense by their own is known as a main clause, and a group of words which depends on main clause or another clause to make their sense, to complete their sense is called subordinate clause. Now I hope you understand how to identify the main clause and subordinate clause. Second example, Rahul won't come to the party. Main clause, because this group of words making their sense by own. Since he is unwell. Since he is unwell, this group of words is known as a subordinate clause. Subordinate clause. Since he is unwell, क्योंकि वो अच्छा महसूस नहीं कर रहा था, तो उसने क्या किया? We don't know. If we add the main clause in this sentence, is in this group of words, it become a meaningful. Rahul won't come to the party. He doesn't want to go to the party because he is feeling unwell. Now the sentence is giving meaningful sense. Okay. Now I will tell you the short trick how to identify subordinate clause or main clause. Generally, sentence begins with main clause and followed by the subordinate clause. In the subordinate clause, the trick is here. Subordinate clause always start with subordinate conjunction. See, although is subordinate conjunction. Since is a subordinate conjunction. So in the sentence, subordinate clause always start with subordinate conjunction. This is the trick. If you keep in mind, then you can find out which part of a sentence is a subordinate clause and which part of a sentence is main clause. And it is not compulsory the main clause will come in the beginning and the subordinate clause will come in the end. No, either of this part can be come in the beginning or in the end. Suppose, but there is a little bit confusion. Let me clear. If the main clause comes in the beginning, then subordinate clause followed by the subordinate conjunction. If the subordinate clause comes in the beginning, then main clause followed by the comma. For example, since he is unwell, comma, Rahul won't come to the party. This sentence is also correct. So, subordinate clause can come in the beginning and subordinate clause can come in the end also. If the main clause came in the end, then it combined by the comma. Comma is also working as a conjunction. Clear? Comma also does the work of conjunction. If the main clause at the end, then subordinate clause connected by the comma. If the main clause in the beginning, then subordinate clause will followed by the subordinate conjunction. So now it is clear what is clause, types of clause. Okay. Now I am going to explain. Main clause doesn't have any kind. Some further subordinate clause also divided into three kinds. noun clause and adjective clause and adverb clause. So let's start the subordinate clause kinds. Here clause have two types, main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause has no kinds. Subordinate clause further divided into three kinds: noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. Now what is a noun clause? A noun clause means a noun clause is a clause that does the work of a noun in a sentence, is known as a noun clause. For example, I like what I see. What I see is a noun clause. Here he said that I was not interested. That I was not interested is a noun clause. Subordinate noun clause, I told you that subordinate clause always start with the subordinate conjunction. Look at here. What is a subordinate conjunction? That is a subordinate conjunctions. And now I am going to tell you the trick how to identify the particular group of word is noun clause or not. See, generally noun clause start with that, what, when, where, why and how. If the noun clause in the sentence there is a noun clause, it's generally 99% it will start from that, what, when, where, why and how. With the help of these words you can identify that particular group of words in the sentence is a noun clause. Noun clause means how to identify noun clause? Noun clause means a clause which does the work of a noun. Now what is a noun? Noun means a thing that can be seen, feel and touch. That is a noun. So, okay, I like what I see. So what I see, मैं देख सकता हूँ जो भी है, मुझे जो पसंद है जो मैं देख सकता हूँ, और whatever we can see is known as a noun. Okay, I was not interested. I can feel it. I am not interested. So this part is group of word is known as a noun. It's working as a noun, and this along with the subordinate conjunction, this group of words is known as a noun clause. Now I am going to explain what is adjective clause. Now, adjective clause. An adjective clause is a clause that does the work of an adjective in the sentence, is known as a adjective clause. For example, I met a man whose hair was grey. Clear? I met a man whose hair was grey. This clause is known as an adjective clause. Why? Because now first, to understand what is the adjective clause, you have to understand what is the adjective. Adjective means a word which qualifies noun or pronoun is known as a adjective. Same adjective clause also does the work of an adjective. That means it will also qualify a noun or pronoun. How? I met a man whose hair was grey. So this of group of words actually telling about the man. What kind of a man he met? He met a man whose hair was grey. Clear? So this group of words is describing man, or describing word is known as a adjective. Clear? So and generally adjective clauses start with who and which. Clear? Next is adverb clause. An adverb clause is a clause which does the work of an adverb in the sentence is called an adverb clause. For example, wait here until you are called. So this group of words is known as a adverb clause. Now what for understanding adverb clause, you should know what is adverb. Adverb means a verb which qualify verb or adjective or another adverb is known as a adverb. So until you are called. Here wait here until you are called means this group of words is actually telling about the verb. What you have to do? You have to wait until you are called. Clear? So this group of word is actually describing the verb. That is why this group of word is known as a adverb clause. Now we are going to study about adverb clause kinds. Okay, noun clause have no kind, adjective clause have no kind, but adverb clauses have many kinds. So now we are going to study in details how many kinds of adverb clauses. There are many kinds of adverb clauses. The first one is adverb clause of time. Adverb clause of time generally tells about the time when the work is to take place. And generally adverb clause of time start with a word after, as, as long as soon as, before, no sooner than, since, until, when, while. These are the words. These are the words generally used in adverb clause of time. Okay. For example, he had left before I arrived. Before I arrived is a adverb clause of time. Okay, and this word is started with before. That's why this clause is known as the adverb clause of time. Okay. Now adverb clause of place. Adverb clause of place generally tells about the place where the work has take place. And generally adverb clause start with where and wherever. These are the words which these underlined words is very important. These words will help you to identify whether it is a noun clause, adverb clause of time, adverb clause place, and all. And related to these words, exercise is also given. Clear? So pay full attention on that. The ship sank is a main clause, where the water were deep is subordinate clause of play. Where the ship sank, the water were deep. Okay, so in this group of words tells about the place where the ship sank. That is why this group of words is known as a adverb clause of place. Next, adverb clause of reason. Why the adverb clause of reason tells about the reason, tells about the cause. What is the cause of the particular work? Okay, so adverb clause of reason tells the reason why the why the work has done. And generally adverb clause of reason start with because, since, as, if, etc. Okay, since there is no work, you can go home. You can go home. Why? They are giving the reason. Since there is no work, and I told you that in subordinate here, so man clause is given in the and man clause, and this one is a subordinate clause. And I already told you in the beginning that you can identify the man clause and subordinate clause with the subordinate conjunction. See, subordinate conjunction in the beginning, this sentence start with the subordinate conjunction. That's why this is a subordinate clause, and this part of a group followed by the comma, and comma is also working as a conjunction. That's why man clause. When the man clause come in the end, it's followed by the comma. Clear? Now the next type of the adverb clause next is adverb clause of comparison. This adverb clause of is used for in the comparison between the two things. Okay, and generally adverb clause comparison start with word than and as. Clear? You must work harder than I do. Here comparison is given between you and I clearly, and this word is known as a subordinate clause, subordinate conjunction of adverb clause. Okay, you must work harder. You have to must work harder than I do. Here comparison is given. How much work you have to do more than I. So here comparison is given. That's why this group of words is known as a this group of subordinate clause is known as a adverb clause of comparison. Next, adverb clause of purpose means adverb clause of purpose told about the give the reason why the work is take place. Okay, so and generally adverb clause of purpose start with so that, in order that, and lest. Clear? We see the example. We eat so that we may live. Why we are eating? So that the reason is the purpose is so that we may live. Why we are eating? We are eating. The purpose is that so that we can live. Yeah, we may live. So here the purpose for giving the in the sentence the group of words which shows the purpose why we are doing the particular thing is known as a adverb clause of purpose. So that's all about the clauses I explained. So that's all about the clauses I explained. How many what is a noun clause, how many kinds of noun clause, and further main clause and subordinate clause, how many kinds of subordinate clause, noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause, and then how many kinds of adverb clause. Everything related to this chapter I explained. I hope you understand the chapter. Now go through the chapter once again from the book and try to solve the exercises. Okay, and in the next video I will explain another chapter of your syllabus. Till then, stay home, stay safe, have a nice day.